Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an AD&D advice video, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video on movement. I did a video recently on Boots of Speed, and I realized that the movement rules in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons can be a little confusing. I figured I'd try to clarify them a little bit. First off, you want to read the section on movement on page 102 of the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. That should answer a lot of your questions. To understand movement, you also have to understand distance in the game. Distance is listed by a single mark, an apostrophe, or a double mark, like a quote symbol. The single mark is easy. That's just feet. That's easy. The double mark is the tricky one. Inside, it's counted as 10 feet. Outside, it's counted as 10 yards. So if you have 6 double mark in a dungeon or underground or in a building, 6 double mark is going to be 60 feet. 6 double mark outside is 60 yards. 60 double mark outside would be 600 yards. Basic movement is listed in double mark and is listed per round. This assumes normal movement, being aware of your surroundings. In my world, characters moving carefully and quietly may move slower. Thieves who can move silently move at normal speed. That's the advantage of being a thief. They move silently at normal speed. Characters who are hurrying along can move at 5 times their normal movement. They're going fast, but they're not flat out running, but they're moving quickly. This means they're not checking for traps or taking precautions. They're just moving as quickly as they can down the hallway. Well, let me rephrase that. They're not moving as quickly as they can, but they're hurrying down the hallway. Characters who are flat out running, giving chase, or fleeing in panic, essentially, can move 10 times their normal movement. This assumes that they have a free and clear area to run, because they're hauling ass. They're running as quick as they can. 10 times their normal movement. Now, overland movement, cross-country as it were, means that each 1 double mark of movement equals 1 mile per half day's travel. So, if a character with a base movement of 12 double mark travels all day long, he can move 24 miles because he's traveling 2 half days. Right? So he can move 24 miles in a day. That's traveling sun up to sundown, stopping for a quick meal at noon, taking drinks and like that, but he can move. Now note, dwarves and halflings generally move 9 double mark instead of the 12 double mark, while giants move considerably faster. This reflects the shorter people's shorter legs. That's just common sense. Now there's other things you have to consider when you're talking about movement. When calculating how far an army can move, for example, I generally count 20 miles per day for infantry and twice that for cavalry. In a mixed unit or group, the lowest speed must be maintained unless the cavalry is willing to leave the infantry behind. So if you have a mixed group of different things, say you've got orcs and goblins and humans and elves and mounted cavalry traveling together, whoever's got the slowest speed, everybody's got to stick together. That's the whole point of an army. You have an army. But if the faster units, if you just want to say, okay, everybody break up and get there as quick as you can, everybody breaks up and just they go at their own speeds and they arrive when they arrive. That doesn't, there's no party, there's no group unity there though. You see what I'm saying? So there's advantages and disadvantages. Now, there's another thing that people don't understand when it comes to large armies moving quickly. They have this thing called a forced march. And if you don't know what that is, it's just crazy. A forced march doubles the movement rate, but leaves the army exhausted that evening and unable to fight effectively. So you can get them there quick, but they ain't doing much when they get there. That kind of thing. And again, for those of you who don't understand what forced marching is, essentially the leadership, the lower ranks of the leadership follow behind the army with whips. They basically whip stragglers, and anyone who collapses is either killed or left behind. The army literally in a forced march, they're moving quickly all day long. You double their speed, but yeah, they're not doing much when they get there. At least that's how I run it, and it works pretty well. I hope this clarifies the situation, because each individual has different movement rates, and you've got to look in the book to see which one is which. I think humans have a base movement of 12, if I'm not mistaken. Most humanoids. Again, dwarves and halflings have a movement of 9. So, 9 double mark. So, again, I hope that clarifies everything, because when you're talking about movement, you also have to consider distance, and distance is very important when you're figuring out spells and things like that, because you have, for example, Fireball has a blast radius. It's different outside than it is indoors, but it's still devastating. You see what I'm saying? The distance is given in double mark, so it's just the way it is. Again, I hope that clarifies things. If you have questions, please ask, and I'll do my damnedest to answer them. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good day now. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.